This is not our war. Rep. Thomas Massie introduces Iran War Powers Resolution to prohibit U.S. involvement in Israel-Iran war after X poll shows 85% oppose providing Israel with weapons. And I'm part of that 85% that opposes that. I'm sick of our troops, our resources, our money going to other countries. I don't care if it's Israel. I don't care if it's whoever. I'm sick of it. My tax dollars, my hard-earned tax dollars going to these causes. I'm sick of it. And I don't understand why anyone put these other countries before our country. And I'm talking about Israel as well. Like, you're an American. How are you putting this country before your country? Yeah, Iran hasn't done anything to us. Yes, they have some people out there saying death to America and stuff like that, but they're just talking. They're not doing anything to us. Last I checked, Iran didn't do anything to us. So why are we going to spend our resources, our soldiers, our lives on this war that has absolutely nothing to do with us? So we're going to talk about it, but before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. You can get exclusive content over there. Also, follow me on X and Instagram. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the Gateway Pundit, and they report that Rep. Thomas Massie announced that he has introduced a resolution to prohibit American involvement in Israel's war with Iran on Tuesday. This comes as Trump signaled on Tuesday that he is seriously considering a strike on Iran and taking out Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Now, I don't think this is a good idea. You know, Trump has a lot of warmongers in his ear, you know, the Lindsey Grahams and so forth. I hope he's not listening to these warmongers. How many times has Netanyahu came out and say, oh, they're this close. They're this close to securing nuclear weapons. They're this close. And they said the same thing about Iraq, weapons of mass destruction. The same statement that he made pertaining to weapons of mass destruction as in Iraq is the same statement he made about Iran. But where's the weapons of mass destruction? We tore up Iraq and didn't find any type of weapons of mass destruction. So I don't think Netanyahu has any credibility when it comes to this because he lied to us before. But quote, we know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We are not going to take him out. At least not for now, Trump said in a post on Truth Social. The president later shared a message he received from U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, where Huckabee, another warmonger or hawkish for Israel, compared the current situation Trump faces to that of President Harry Truman, who ordered the first nuclear bombs to be dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, ending World War II. Wow. Huckabee, who consider himself a Christian, right? He's a so-called Christian. He's a pastor, but he's for dropping bombs on people. Are you for real right now? I'm so sick of these Zionists. I'm so sick of these Zionists. They're putting their Zionism before the Bible, and you call yourself a Christian. You go to Israel and try to prophesize. I can't say the word prophesize. You go to Israel and try to speak about Jesus and see what happened to you. See how they spit on you and arrest you and things like that. And these are the same people that you're caping for and want to drop bombs for. Wow. This prompted concern among supporters of the president, and who I'm definitely concerned, who ran on the promise of ending wars, not starting World War III or involving the U.S. in another endless war in the Middle East. That the nuclear option is being considered. It's just ridiculous. This comes after Israel carried out a massive bombing campaign on Iran's nuclear sites. Now, again, I'm no fan of Iran. I'm no fan of Iran at all, but they have done nothing to us. So why is it our business? The Jewish state conducted the preemptive strike called Strength of a Lion after receiving intelligence that Iran had enough enriched uranium to build several nuclear bombs within days. again, we've heard this before. So why now? Why are they bombing now? However, as the Gateway Pundit reported, since the 1990s, Netanyahu has repeatedly claimed that Iran is on the verge of developing nuclear weapons, often citing short timelines for their capability. This is what I was alluding to. He's been saying this for what, 30 years? Over 30 years, this man has said they're right there. Remember when he had the little Acme, Netanyahu had the little Acme bomb? And he was like, they're right here. If they get to here, then they got their weapon. They can make bombs and stuff. They're right here. Remember when he did that? So, I mean, no one, he has absolutely, Netanyahu has absolutely no credibility when it comes to his intelligence. Remember, again, he's the same one that told us it was weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. The president has gone from calling for Israel to hold off on attacking Iran pending negotiations even hours before Israel struck Iran, to now calling for, quote, a real end, not a ceasefire, after Israel seemingly vetoed his calls for peaceful negotiation. So if you veto his calls for peaceful negotiation, then you on your own, bruh. You shouldn't be coming to us for anything because you went against what we were talking about, what we said. So why are we appeasing Israel when it comes to this? Last month, Trump said he told Israel it would be appropriate amid ongoing negotiations. Let's play that clip here. Here we go.
President, back on Iran, did you warn Prime Minister Netanyahu against taking some sort of actions that could disrupt the talks there in a phone call last week?
Well, I'd like to be honest. Yes, I did. Next question, please.
Mr. President,
So they didn't listen.
I did, yeah.
If Senate Republicans want to push
It's
forward,
not a warning. I said I don't think it's appropriate.
What exactly did you tell him? Did
I
you
just
caution
said
him?
I don't think it's appropriate. We're having very good discussions with him, and I said I don't think it's appropriate right now.
And they did it
We
anyway.
could settle it with a very strong document, very strong, with inspections and no trust. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody. So no trust. I want it very strong where we can go in with inspectors. We can take whatever we want. We can blow up whatever we want, but nobody getting killed. We can blow up a lab, but nobody's going to be in the lab, as opposed to everybody being in the lab and blowing it up, right? Two ways of doing it. Yeah, I told him this would be inappropriate to do right now because we're very close to a solution. Now, that could change at any moment. Could change with a phone call. But right now, I think they want to make a deal, and if we can make a deal, save a lot of lives.
Israel don't care anything about saving lives. They want to wipe Iran off the map. But if Trump decides to go the interventionist route, he would be siding with the warmongers like Rhino Senator Lindsey Graham, of course, who has called on the U.S. to go all in with Israel and even called for regime change in Iran. Rep. Massie announced his resolution on X on Tuesday saying, quote, "This is not our war. Even if it were, Congress must decide such matters according to our Constitution." He's absolutely correct on that. The resolution, because again, Iran didn't do anything to us. So what excuse do we have to go in and do anything to Iran? The resolution sponsored by Democratic Rep. Ro Khanna notes that, quote, "Congress has the sole power to declare war and would direct the president to terminate use of U.S. military against Iran unless explicitly authorized." Again, I agree with that. Y'all know I'm a constitutionalist. You can't go to war without Congress consent unless we're being attacked first. You can't go to war. You shouldn't be given resources or any of that stuff. Massie has long been outspoken against involvement in Israel's war, and I agree. Israel refused to fight their own wars. They'll punch you in the face and run, and then hide behind Big Brother, us, Big Brother, and say, "Hey, go get him, Big Bro. Go get him, Big Bro." That's what Israel does. On Friday, he vowed to vote against funding for the war, noting that the country evidently, quote, already has enough to start offensive wars. They do. They got their own resources. Why do they need us? He also polled followers asking, should the United States be giving Israel weapons to make war with Iran? And 85% of the more than 120,000 respondents said no. That's a lot of people responding to that survey, and overwhelmingly say we need to stay out of it. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Y'all think we need to stay out of it? You think we should help Israel? Leave your comments down below. like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.